Get a Job in Tech, episode 286. Java. So we're talking about Java now. Java technical interview questions. Last time we did fundamental, that was a couple days ago. And now we are talking about object-oriented programming. So it's going to be Java technical interview questions, job and specifically for object-oriented programming. Question number 1. What is the difference between procedural programming and OOP, which is object-oriented programming? Procedural programming is top-down approach to programming, where the program is divided in a series of functions that each perform a specific task. OOP, or object-oriented programming, on the other hand, is a bottom-up approach to programming, where the program is divided into objects that each represent a real-world entity. What are the core concepts of object-oriented programming? The core concepts of object-oriented programming are abstraction. Abstraction is the process of hiding the implementation details of an object from the user. This allows the user to focus on the object's functionality without having to worry about how it works. Encapsulation. Encapsulation is the building of data and codes into a single unit. This makes it easier to maintain and update the code. It also makes it more difficult for users to accidentally modify the data. Inheritance. Inheritance is the ability of an object to inherit the properties and methods of another object. This allows developers to reuse code and create more complex objects with fewer lines of code. Polymorphism. Polymorphism is the ability of an object to behave differently depending on its context. This allows developers to write code that is more flexible and easier to maintain. Question number 3. What is the difference between overloading and overriding? Overloading refers to the ability to have multiple methods with the same name, but different parameters. Overriding refers to the ability to have a method in a subclass that has the same signature as a method in a superclass. Question 4. What is the difference between static and dynamic binding? Static binding and dynamic binding are two different ways of resolving functional calls in object-oriented programming. Static binding occurs when the compiler determines the method to be called at the compile time. This is the most common type of binding in object-oriented programming and is used for both static and non-virtual methods. Dynamic binding occurs when the method to be called is not determined until runtime. This is used for virtual methods, which allows for polymorphism. Question 5. What is the difference between abstract class and interface? Answer. Here are the table summaries, the key difference between abstract classes and interfaces. So we have, on the left-hand side, you have feature. Then in the middle, you have abstract class, and then interface on the right. So the feature can be instantiated. The abstract class says no. The interface says no. Can have abstract methods. Abstract class, yes. Interface, yes. Can have non-abstract methods. Abstract class, yes. Interface, no. Can have state. Abstract class, yes. Interface, no. Can be extended by other classes. Abstract class, yes. Interface, no. Can be implemented by other classes. Abstract class, yes. Interface, no. Question 6. Why Java doesn't support multiple inheritance? Answer. Java doesn't support multiple inheritance because it can lead to a number of problems, including ambiguity, circular dependencies, and complexity. Question 7. When do you use interface and abstract classes in Java? Answer. Abstract classes and interfaces are both used to achieve abstraction in object-oriented programming. Abstract classes are similar to normal classes, with the difference that they can include abstract methods, which are methods without a body. Abstract classes cannot be instantiated. Interfaces are a kind of code contract, which must be implemented by a concrete class. Interfaces cannot have state, whereas the abstract class can have state with instant variables. Question 8. What are the challenges of using object-oriented programming in Java? Answer. There are some challenges associated with using object-oriented programming in Java. These challenges include complexity. Object-oriented programming can make code more complex, especially with dealing with large and complex systems. Overhead. Object-oriented programming can add some overhead to code as objects need to be created and managed. Testing. Object-oriented programming can make code more difficult to test as objects need to be tested in isolation and in combination. Performance. Object-oriented programming can impact performance as objects can add some overhead. So these are some of the questions that you could be asked on an interview about object-oriented programming. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next one.